Insiders might sell their shares for any number of reasons, but they buy them for only one. They think the price will rise. Peter Lynch, manager of the Magellan Fund at Fidelity Investments from 1977 to 1990. Peter Lynch averaged around a 29.2% annual return, which was more than double the S&P 500 stock market index and earned it the title of one of the best performing mutual funds in the world. Now, before you click off this video, what exactly does this have to do with SoFi? Well, ladies and gents, this is where it gets interesting. Over the last 6 to 8 months or so, SoFi executives have collectively added over 1.2 million shares to their positions collectively, whether in exercising options or just straight up buying shares. And a significant portion of that was just added in the last 2 to 3 months. Now, what do these SoFi executives know that we don't that is causing them to buy so heavily? I mean, if we do some light math, 1.2 million shares at even today's near all-time low prices of around $10 a share is $12 million in additional SoFi shares. That's a sizable amount of money even for SoFi execs. In this video, we're going to look at CEO Anthony Noto, CFO Chris Lapointe, Executive Vice President of Lending and Capital Markets, Gill, Chief Marketing Officer Lawrence Stafford Webb, who's been killing SoFi's marketing lately, by the way, and a couple of other executives' positions to see just how much they've been adding and see if we can figure out why they've been adding so heavily, especially fairly recently. And to cap it all off, we're going to look at SoFi's short percentage, which has been increasing near all-time highs. Guys and gals, if you were ever going to watch one of our videos all the way through, of the over 120 to 150 SoFi videos we've made at this point, it would be this one. Stick around until the very end so you don't miss a thing. If you feel like we haven't provided enough value by the end of this video, then we openly invite you to dislike this video. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into it. Real quick though, a couple of things. Number one, for those of you die-hard SoFi investors out there, feel free to join our SoFi Investors Facebook group, which will be linked in the description. The group actually just hit 325 die-hard SoFi investors, and it's crazy to see how fast it has grown. Number two, for those of you who are on other social media platforms and want to stay up to date on everything SoFi and general stock market updates in general, feel free to follow us on our other social media platforms at Wealth Gambit. Lastly, we are not financial advisors, and none of this is financial advice. Always do your own due diligence. Or as we like to say here on the channel, do for do your own due diligence. Alright, so let's take a look at the CEO of SoFi himself, Anthony, aka the Commander Noto. As you can see, Anthony Noto had about 2,210,102 shares of SoFi as of August 17th, 2021. And by the way, all this information is from the Nasdaq's official website. Now, that's definitely nothing to sneeze at. Near the end of 2021 though, Anthony Noto ended the year with 2,785,091 shares of SoFi. That's an increase of 574,989 shares of SoFi over the span of roughly 4 months. Can anyone say load the boats? Now, for 2022, as you can see, Anthony has stuck to getting his hands on as many SoFi shares as possible, and in 2022 alone, increased his position by 97,735 more SoFi shares, which has a current market value of $977,350, assuming SoFi is still $10 a share by the time we finish editing and upload this video. Now guys, back to the quote we heard from the legendary investor Peter Lynch at the beginning of the video. Insiders might sell their shares for any number of reasons, but they buy them for only one. They think the price will rise. Now, if Anthony Noto, the CEO of SoFi, is putting up over 600,000 additional shares, wasn't enough of a green flag, let's take a look at the man with his finger on the pulse of SoFi's finances, Chris Lapointe, or SoFi's Chief Financial Officer. Chris Lapointe may not have nearly as many shares as Anthony Noto, but yet you can still see a trend. From May 28th, 2021 to December 14th, 2021, Chris Lapointe, I repeat, SoFi's Chief Financial Officer, the man who knows SoFi's finances literally better than anybody else, increased the amount of shares he was holding from 223,271 shares of SoFi to 358,804 shares of SoFi. That is a roughly 61% increase in position size in about 6 months. SoFi's CEO and CFO loading up on SoFi heavy over the last half of 2021 and into 2022. Do you guys smell something cooking? Comment. I definitely smell something in the comments down below if you guys think that this is no mere coincidence. It's almost as if SoFi's CEO and CFO feel as if their company's stock is undervalued and that they're loading up every chance they get. But for the sake of being thorough, let's see what the other SoFi execs are doing. The next SoFi exec actually worked at the same company Anthony Noto did back in the day, long before he was the CEO of SoFi, Gill. Michelle is currently SoFi's Executive Vice President of Lending and Capital Markets at SoFi. Let's see what she's been up to the past couple of months. As you can see, she too is drastically increasing her position significantly. From the end of May 2021 to the beginning of March 2022, Michelle Gill has increased her position size roughly 36.42%. That's again a pretty sizable increase. Now for the bullet round, let's do SoFi's Chief Marketing Officer, Stafford Webb, and SoFi's Head of Operations, Micah. As you can see here again, a significant increase in position size. For Lauren, SoFi's Chief Marketing Officer, who by the way has been absolutely killing SoFi's marketing lately, her position increased by 79,322 shares, or an increase in position size of 66.91%, or basically 67%. Micah's increase in position size was also pretty significant, coming in at around 28.31%. Now, why is this important? Being that we've made literally over 120 videos on SoFi, which by the way, if you haven't seen already, be sure to do that. We've actually made a playlist on our channel, which you can watch after finishing this video, of course. We're heavily invested into SoFi ourselves and are pretty in touch with the SoFi community. Obviously, although the company has been killing it over the last 6 to 8 months, the stock price has refused to reflect that. Now, there are two main schools of thought when SoFi stock price tumbles down. Number one, oh man, SoFi stock is crashing. I'm losing my money. When will this thing go back up? Should I sell? Is this stock even good? Why did I buy this thing in the first place? When will the price go back up? Should I sell again? Now, we're not trying to throw shade at you if this is you. We here at Wealth Gambit believe that everyone has these thoughts at least a little bit on some level. After all, no one likes to look at their portfolio and see red. But what we would like to do is bring everyone's attention to the second school of thought. Number two, SoFi, for whatever reason, and in reality, probably a myriad of reasons, all with varying percentages of effects on SoFi's stock price, is in undervalued territory. This gives me way more time to get the stock for an even better price than when I started. Let's load this bad boy up. Which school of thought do you think SoFi's executives are taking? If you guessed the latter, here is a virtual cookie as a prize. Now, ladies and gents, for the grand finale, and a point that we here at Wealth Gambit believes ties this all together. Before we get into the main point though, if you got any value from this video whatsoever, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, as it truly does help us continue to make videos like this, which do really take a long time to make. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on when we drop new videos. Okay, back to it for the final piece, SoFi's short interest percentage. As you can see, SoFi's short interest is at 18.19%. Now I know what you're thinking. Dang, that seems pretty high, but how does that tie in with everything we just discussed?
Glad you asked.
We didn't.
Never do.
Take a look at this chart of SoFi's short interest over time. Again, shout out to the Nasdaq for being a real one and providing this information. You'd be surprised how hard it is to find short interest numbers over time. Anyways, take a look. Now, let's take a look at those dates. On May 28th, about 23,817,581 shares of SoFi were being shorted. As of February 15th, 2022, that number has increased to about 101,248,456 shares being sold short, which is slightly more than a 400% increase in short seller activity in the stock. And I know, now what does that actually mean? Considering you are hopefully a Wealth Gambit subscriber, we'll tell you, significant short seller activity has the ability to artificially push the stock price down. Take a look at Tesla, for example. As you can see, from March of 2017 to around December of 2019, the stock basically did nothing despite Tesla the company making massive progress and all key performance indicators going up. Any Tesla shareholder will tell you that one of the biggest things that kept Tesla's stock price down during this time was the amount of short seller activity, and with that, short sellers either challenging Tesla's validity or even worse, directly attacking Elon Musk, literally doing whatever they could to get the stock price to go down. As you can see, although they were successful in the short term and held Tesla's stock price around the same levels for a while, ultimately, in the long term, Tesla eventually broke out and went to the moon. To wrap this whole thing up and put a bow tie on it, for those of you who are short term, this may seem like a long time for your money to sit and do nothing, but take a look at it this way. Every month SoFi stays at these levels, that's another month you get to further build out your position, because when SoFi inevitably goes to the moon, the only thing we'll be wishing is that we bought more shares. After all, in Tesla's case, the percentage return in 5 years was 1,598.37%, meaning that if you had invested, I don't know, let's pick an arbitrary number like $10,000. If you had invested that in Tesla 5 years ago, you would have roughly $170,000 now. Patience is ultimately rewarded. Now, for those of you who watched until the very end of the video, we have a special treat for you. We don't usually like to share our portfolio, and for privacy's sake, we will blur out the numbers, but take a look. This is our all-time return in the stock market since we started, so you know we're not just making this up. For almost 2 years, nothing happened, but we stayed patient, and ultimately, our patience was rewarded. What will you do? Thanks for watching until the end of the video, guys. Just so we know who the real Wealth Gambit OGs are, comment patience in the comment section down below so we know who the real ones are. Also, after making over 120 videos on SoFi, we finally come to our senses and actually put a referral link in the description box below for SoFi Invest, considering our channel is on investing and SoFi after all. If you sign up using the link in the description box, SoFi will give you $25 in free stock, and we will of course get something as well. It's a great way to support the channel and support SoFi if you don't already have an account. Also, the link for the SoFi Investors Facebook group and our other social media will be down there as well in case you want to join. That wraps up today's video, and until next time, peace.